Society for Root Crops Symposium, the 14th edition of the Africa branch, Istrc-Ab. My name is Godwin Atse. I will be anchoring this event with my colleague from Zambia, Mr. Mark Mutingi. We go straight and we try to keep to time as much as possible. This is a special year, a year that we have the pandemic, COVID-19, and therefore we can't meet physically. But we are grateful that there is opportunity to use technology for us to gather together and reflect on the progress being made by the root and tuber crop subsector. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me invite all of us to take 5 minutes and pray. And then after that, we proceed with the program. Thank you and good morning.
Hello, please unmute Matthias. Ibadan, please unmute.
Okay, yes, please. You can
unmute
go ahead now.
Matthias.
Yeah, you can go ahead now.
Okay.
May I call on Mr. Mark to lead us in calling for the national anthem? Matthias, please.
Oh, thank you so much, Godwin, and thank you so much, everyone, and welcome. I hope I'm loud and clear.
Very well.
Okay, thank you. May we bow down for a prayer. Heavenly Father, although we are meeting virtually, we know that you are here in our midst. We don't have the benefits of face-to-face interactions, but Father, with your grace, we are certain that this online Istrc African Branch Symposium would be a success, and we can accomplish all our planned goals as well. Father, send us your Holy Spirit to guide us through our deliberations. We thank you for allowing us to meet in spite of these difficult circumstances amid this COVID pandemic. May the souls of the departed souls, some of them we had connections with, lie in the comfort of the Lord. We know this meeting is not possible without your divine guidance and permission. Hence, Father, we dedicate this Istrc Africa Branch Symposium to you, Lord. We pray that you bless the proponents of this meeting, that they can push forward the planned agenda for the benefit of all. In this, let us all remember the organizers, both local here in Zambia and everywhere else, the farmers, that we plan to serve our presenters that will be making presentations during this meeting, and indeed all the participants at all levels. We pray that all plans of action we agreed to do during this meeting would be accomplished successfully. We pray that during our virtual Istrc Africa branch symposium meeting, we will not forget that our goals should be centered on your teaching of love and peace, and to hence alleviate the poverty by providing food to all. May we see in you, in each one of us, the skills and abilities that we have, and set our actions to accomplish your divine mission. We pray also that we will remember to achieve our set goals, putting into consideration the welfare of all the people around us. Allow us to avoid all possible selfish aspirations, Father, for the sake of unity and teamwork, so that the Istrc Africa Branch Symposium group succeeds. May we spread your words of peace, Father, and love to people across the world through our plans and actions that we will be sharing, starting from today up to Friday this week. Father, all these and many others that we may want to have asked, we put them in your mighty name with thanksgiving in our hearts. We pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, Matthias. Please, can you go ahead and invite for the Zambian national anthem? Thank you so much for the national anthem. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly say that this symposium is very important to all of us because it serves as a unique platform for all the professionals that are working in the roots and tuber crops to come together, make a review, reflect on the progress that has been made over the years in terms of the advancement of the roots and tuber crops. It gives us the opportunity to see how we can jointly put our efforts together to actually fight hunger and poverty, considering that all of us know that roots and tuber crops are very, very critical component of the food value chain, especially of countries in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, that depends on these crops. This year's symposium, we have a lot of papers that we have received coming from genetic resources, breeding, commercial sustainable seed system, agronomy, post-harvest nutrition, and also innovative ways of scaling of roots and tuber crops. And also the policy and challenges that we have had and how projects and how scientists are actually navigating all of these in order to make these crops play their vital role in the food security of people living in the tropics. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite my colleague once again, Mr. Matthias, to do the first set of introduction of some of the colleagues that have joined this very important virtual meeting so that we can acknowledge them. Matthias, if you are there, please can you recognize people from Zambia being the host country for this year's Istrc-Ab. It will be nice for you to start by recognizing people from that end of the continent. Thank you, Matthias.
Sorry, Mark, are you around? To introduce the guest.
Mark Muchinga, right?
Yes, Mark Muchinga.
Okay. Mark, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear you.
good morning.
Please put on your video.
Okay, please. Good morning, everyone. I want to take this opportunity and invite to this important conference Mr. Moses Mwale, Director of Agriculture, Minister of Agriculture, Mrs. Lengani Sikapizia, representing Executive Director, National Science and Technology Council, Mrs. Nsama Mataka, representing Executive Director, National Science and Technology Council, Dr. Benson Chishala, Dean, School of Agriculture, University of Zambia, Dr. David Chikoye, Regional Director, IATA Southern Africa Regional Hub, Mr. Ivo Mukuka, Director, Zambia Agriculture Research Institute, Ministry of Agriculture, Mrs. Peggy Mlewa, Director, Police and Planning Department, Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Brighton Mulonga, Chairperson, Zambia National Cassava Association, Dr. Francisco Miti, Director, Seed Control and Certification Institute, Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Ken Musiska, Director, Plant Quarantine and Phytosanitary Department, Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Maxwell Mumba, Project Manager, Zambia Skills Development and Enterprise Project. That's under the Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission. And like you've heard, my name's Mark Mungala Muchinga, Director Agriculture for under Sunbed Bioenergy. These are our guests today, and we welcome them all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark, for the introduction. From the West Africa, and the other side, and colleagues, other colleagues that are also joining, permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to recognize the presence of the Director General for IITA, Dr. Nterenya Sanginga, that is joining this meeting, and his representative. I also like to recognize the representative of the Director General for SIP, Dr. Barbara Wells. We also have Dr. Graham Pierre, who is the chairperson of the CGIAR Roots and Tubers, RTB. I also like to recognize the presence of the Executive Director for National Root Crops Research Institute, Umudike, here in Nigeria, Professor Ukpabi, Joseph Ukpabi. I'd like to recognize the Director for West Africa Hub of IITA, Dr. Michael Albertin, and also the Emeritus scientist at IITA and immediate past Director of East Africa at IITA, Dr. Victor Mayong is joining. Permit me also to recognize Dr. Alfred Dixon, who is the Director for Partnerships and Delivery at IITA. I'd like to also recognize Emeritus Director of West Africa, Dr. Robert Asiedu, who is joining, and Dr. Richardson Okechukwu, who is the President of Istrc-Ab. Thank you so much, sir, for putting this event together. And of course, I will be recognizing the President of Istrc in person of Professor Latif Sani, who is also joining the meeting. I'm not sure, but let me take this opportunity to mention that we also have the chairperson of the LOC of Zambia that put this meeting together, Dr. Martin Chiona, and also we have a representative of farmers from Zambia who is also joining with us in person of Mr. Vincent Akama Disa. Please, can we maybe if our videos are on, to give a clap? If not, go to reactions and just click the clap button for all the dignitaries that have made time to join this very important meeting. Right. Thank you so much for that. And with the introduction of guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to invite the president of Istrc-Ab, Dr. Richardson Okechukwu, to give us the opening address, the welcome address, please. Richardson, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Godwin and Mark. You've been doing a good job. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Zambia, members of the Ministry of Agriculture, and all those mentioned by Mark, duly recognized. the Director Generals present from the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture and from SIP. We recognize you. The Executive Director, National Root Crop, Umudike, we recognize you. Members of CGIR, all research institutes, all farmers, all private sector members who work on root and tuber crop, duly recognized. All students, all researchers, everybody working on root and tuber crops, we all welcome you to this 14th edition of our triennial symposium. It was supposed to have held last year, but unfortunately, the COVID, we think came in so strong, and we thought it would be better this year, and we negotiated with our parent body, the Istrc, to shift their own date to next year so that we can have this year. But when we got to this year, the COVID things increased more. So that's why we're doing it purely virtual. So please, it's new for all of us, and I hope we can still have the normal warm interactions that we always have when we get together and meet ourselves. So we'll do all that in this meeting this year. So for this symposium, we have chosen the theme, exploring climate smart, nutritious, and healthy root and tuber crops for African business solutions. This theme was chosen because as we are moving forward, we can see the challenges of climate change. We can see changes in pest and disease dynamics. We can see demands coming in from the private sector for more raw material for processing and for value addition. We can see that even our government and policymakers are now keen into making policies that can make things better for the farmers to produce and attract investors in their various countries. So we also see a lot of exchange of ideas from one country to another, reducing the time we need to deploy technologies here and there. So many things have happened in these last 3 years and 4 years, and this is an opportunity to present some of these ideas, discuss them, and have what we can profile for the next 3 years. I welcome all new members who this is probably their first time of joining the Istrc-Ab family. It is a society that keeps all of us together so far working on root and tuber crop, whether it is a major tuber or a minor one, all are welcome on this group. And we try to do it such a way that we have scientific papers presented. We also have papers on experiences and challenges, and we do have also exhibitions and some practical discussions as we go in. So everybody, you're all welcome to this edition of the 14th edition of the Istrc-Ab. Thank you. Welcome. Godwin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richardson, for the welcome address. Quickly, because of our time, permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to invite the chairperson for the local organizing committee from Zambia, Dr. Martin Chiona, to welcome us in Zambia virtually. Martin, please.
Yes, thank you very much, MC. I would like to recognize the presence of the guest of honor, our Minister of Agriculture, Zambia. I would like to recognize the presence of the Istrc President, Global, Istrc Africa Branch President, Director General, IITA, Director General, International Potato Center, IITA Southern Hub Regional Director, invited senior government officials, representatives from national and international NGOs, members of the society from Africa and beyond, farmers, representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 14th International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa Branch Symposium, being hosted virtually for the first time due to the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. The local organizing committee had an ambitious agenda for all of the participants to this great symposium to experience Zambia at its best. However, this was not to be. The very thought that went into the initial preparation is much appreciated, and the local organizing committee members are commended for not relenting, as they are still hoping for another opportunity to serve you when the environment permits. On behalf of the local organizing committee, I would like to welcome you to the 14th International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa Branch Symposium, which our country has the privilege of hosting. The value of tropical root and tuber crops in our diets and their contribution to uplifting the standard of living of the African people is usually underestimated. It is our considered view that this symposium will change our perception of these crops, as the passion to create change using root and tuber crops in our various economies will be rekindled. Your participation in this symposium is testimony of your desire to resolve some of the key issues and challenges besetting tropical root and tuber crops, on which most of our economies, our countries depend for livelihood and economic development. We trust that you will not shy away from sharing your revolutionary ideas and experiences for the benefit of our farming communities and indeed our collective economies as we do business with root and tuber crops. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to express our thanks to the International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa Branch and the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, for selecting Zambia to host this important meeting. On behalf of the Zambian Local Organizing Committee and the people of Zambia, I wish once again to extend a very warm welcome to all our virtual visitors and wish all of you a productive meeting. Thank you very much, and God bless our meeting.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chiona, for the welcome address. That was very explicit. We appreciate you for that and for the energy you and your team have put together to bring us together. Ladies and gentlemen, in Istrc, we take farmers very seriously. We actually listen to them because they are the reason why we are here. And for this meeting, permit me to invite a farmer representative from Zambia, Mr. Vincent Akamandisa, to give us a goodwill message. So, Mr. Vincent, please, can you have the floor?
Thank you very much, MC. I would like to firstly express our great honor and privilege that we have been given by the good men and women who came up with this idea. And firstly, I want to recognize the various distinguished guests that that are present in this virtual meeting, and allow me to ride on the protocols that have been well elaborated by the people who spoke before me. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we feel very privileged as root and tuber farmers in Zambia that the International Society for Tropical Root and Root Crops Africa branch has come up with this idea, and the local organizing committee has worked tirelessly over the past 1 year or so to ensure that despite the ravages of COVID-19, today and the next 4 or 5 days, we're having this rare privilege to listen to a lot of work that has been done by international experts in research and development, focusing mainly to the crop that I and a lot of farmers in Zambia, who I'm sure the last count is over 350,000 individuals who are growing various root and tuber crops, so that we could benefit from the scientific papers that are going to be shared in this symposium. And my hope and the hope of all farmers scattered over the rural parts of our country is that the great innovative research and development papers that you are going to be shared will find their way to the root and tuber farmers that are in our remote parts of the country, so that they could adopt these improved technologies to ensure that their production and productivities are enhanced to not only supply food to their households, but more importantly, to ensure that they sell some roots and tubers to the available markets, especially for crops like cassava, which in the past few days, few years, the companies like Zambia Breweries, Zonkai, Soya Biofuels, Premier Corn, and Sadbed, mentioned by a few, but a few, have put up plants in our country, and they are willing and ready to buy large quantities of processed and fresh cassava from the smallholder farmers in our country. And this will go a long way to ensure that the disorganized smallholder root and tuber farmers who are scattered all over will now become organized, because cassava and sweet potatoes and other root and tuber crops have become a commercial crop. And I will encourage the private sector players in these value chains to come up and partner with the various players, especially in research and development, so that they provide the improved planting materials, and then the extension services from both Ministry of Agriculture and private sector provide the needed extension and advisory services to smallholder farmers like ourselves, so that we can plant, manage our crops for increased production and productivity, as well as the suppliers of equipment for planting, harvesting, or post-harvest handling can also come in, be organized, and provide this, not forgetting the financiers who can come in, partner with us, so that indeed all Zambians and all citizens of the globe can benefit. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor that our country is hosting this symposium, and it is our wish and prayer that we all could benefit in many ways, and may the good Lord continue to bless the great efforts that you are doing in our continent and in our country for the benefit of the marginalized and undertrodden, rarely recognized smallholder farmers in our country. Thank you very much, and may God bless our symposium.
Thank you so much, Vincent, for the goodwill message. And I'm very sure that colleagues from the research community and extension are here and are willing to work with farmers to ensure that farmers in Africa and in the tropics in general have access to good yield of these crops and maximize the benefit of these crops in terms of improving their incomes and livelihoods. Thank you so much once again. Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, I'm sure he's here by now, or his representative, Director General is present. Let me at this point invite Professor Latif Sani, who is the President of Istrc Global, to give us a goodwill message. Professor Latif Sani, please.
Thank you, the MC. The Excellency, the Honorable Minister, the President, African branch of Istrc, and all other colleagues that are hosting this event in Zambia. I want to, on behalf of International Society for Tropical Root Crops, commend and congratulate all of us for the hosting of this symposium. The theme of this symposium is very apt. The issue of climate change and variability is seriously affecting quite a lot of farms now globally. The rise in the temperature is definitely affecting the issue of droughts in our environment, and desertification is also affecting some of our crops. A lot of discussions have actually been organized on the contribution of root and tuber crops as a kind of game changer. And I'm very sure that the keynote speaker of today will showcase to us some of the drought-tolerant varieties that we have in the CG system and all other places. To this, I want to commend the President and the leadership for this team. And secondly, I want to also commend all our partners that contributed towards a successful hosting of this symposium. I pray that by next available opportunity, we'll meet physically. At the global level, we are meeting in Nairobi in October next year, and you will have further discussion about it by Dr. Okogbemi, who happens to be the LOC chairman. Finally, I thank you for this opportunity, and let us all work together in ensuring sustainable development in the globe. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you so much, Professor Latif Sani, for the goodwill message from the global body of Istrc. And permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite the Executive Director of NRCRI here in Nigeria, Professor Ukpabi, Joseph Ukpabi, to give us his goodwill. Prof, please.
Please, what's Prof's name on this platform? I can't find it.
Can you see, did you see anything NRCRI?
NRCRI, no.
I'm yet to get him. We can move to the next speaker.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Richardson. So let me invite the representative of the Director General of SIP, Dr. Barbara Wells, to give the presentation, the goodwill message.
Thank you. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Paul Demo. I'm going to deliver the goodwill message of Dr. Barbara Well to the 14th Istrc-Ab Symposium. This message is delivered by Dr. Paul Demo, SIP Africa Director representing Dr. Wells. Honorable Ministers of Agriculture, Zambia, the President of Istrc, the President of Istrc-Ab, members of the Symposium Organizing Committee, members of Istrc-Ab and Symposium participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. First, Dr. Well is sorry to not being able to be here in person. She has asked me to tell you that she is looking forward to attending in person in future. Thank you so much to the organizing committee of the 14th Symposium of Istrc-Ab for this opportunity offered to deliver a goodwill message at this important event. We have exciting news for you. With one CIGA integrating research and development, we expect to work with our partners to deliver solutions at scale. One CIGA will work in 3 action areas, namely genetic innovation, resilient agri-food system, and systems transformation to deliver science and innovation that advance transformation of food, land, and water systems in a climate crisis. CIGA has designed its work with partners to realize multiple benefits and transformative change across 5 SDG focus impact areas, namely, number 1, nutrition, health, and food security. 2, poverty reduction, livelihoods, and jobs. 3, gender equality, youth, and social inclusion. 4, climate adaptation and mitigation. And 5, environmental health and biodiversity. Root and tuber crops are very important. 300 million farmers depend on root and tuber crop for their incomes and nutrition of their families. Root and tuber crops, or have been described recently, COVID-19 shock absorbers, are crucial to families and societies facing extreme climatic events, more resilient than many other crops, and not subjected to price fluctuations like some international traded commodities. They meet the needs of so many families for nutritious, resilient foods in time of crisis. This means, as partners to Istrc, we will be more focused, and we can't deliver without you, especially for information sharing and dissemination. We expect contact with members of Istrc to accelerate within one CIGA. We hope Istrc is a place where we can bring our technologies and innovations to enhance their sharing and utilization and where we can learn from the technologies being developed by you. As part of new investment prospectus, we have 33 initiatives, each designed to deliver substantial changes for millions of farmers, processors, traders, consumers, among all 5 CJA impact areas. In the area of work overseen by Dr. Wells as the Global Director for Genetic Innovation, we are developing 6 multi-million-dollar global initiatives underpinning the work of regional targeted initiative and in close collaboration with initiatives targeting resilient agri-food systems and systems transformation. In Dr. Wells' new position of Global Director of Genetic Innovation, CJA is bringing forward 6 initiatives, including the following 3 for illustration. 1, market intelligence for more equitable and impactful genetic innovation. We aim to maximize the impact of genetic innovation investment by holistically gathering and analyzing women's, men's demands, market opportunities, and the feasibility of producing and scaling crops varieties in local contexts. Precise information will help us breed the right nutritious crops for the market, accelerating adoption. 2, enabling tools, technologies, and services for genetic gains. We aim to define and provide access to best practices, enabling resources, and implementation support to increase the return on investment in breeding programs operations for stakeholders. 3, SeedQual, delivering genetic gains in farmers' field. We aim to accelerate variety turnover, quality seed use, and the realization of genetic gains in farmers' field with 2% per year of genetic gain. Through a concerted effort to strengthen national seed system in focal countries and regions. In the first 3 years, we seek to increase supply of improved seed by 50%. One CJA has a whole area of work in the new structure dedicated to root and tuber crops. We hope to use our increased capacity and focus to grow our partnerships. And root and tuber crops remain key to delivering food system transformation. I wish you a very successful symposium. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was the speech by the Director General for SIP, Dr. Barbara Wells, presented by Paul Demo. Dr. Paul, thank you so much for delivering the message. It is much appreciated. And we also appreciate the work that is being done in the framework of the 1CG. And we hope that this will bring a lot of benefits to Africa in particular, but also to the Latin America and several other countries within the tropics, especially if we have the roots and tuber crops playing a very significant role. Istrc renews its commitment to work with 1CGIAR in this direction. Thank you so much for taking time to speak to us. Your Excellencies, Director Generals, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will now call on the representative of the Executive Director of National Root Crop Research Institute, Dr. Godwin Asumuga is going to make a presentation on behalf of Professor Ukpabi, Joseph Ukpabi. So please, can we give Dr. Godwin the floor to speak? Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. And once again, I welcome you to this, our own symposium, International Society for Tropical Root Crops, African branch. And speaking on behalf of the Executive Director, National Root Crop Research Institute, Umudike, Professor Ukpabi, Joseph Ukpabi, who is unavoidably absent. He received the shocking news this morning. His junior brother, who is a consultant a cardiologist, just received an international award, passed on this morning. So he rushed down, he can't be here. So he has, he passed on as a result of a COVID. You know, all these doctors treating the patients. So he has asked me to extend his greetings to Istrc-Ab. And he recognized the importance of root and the tuber crops, which cannot be overemphasized. National Root Crop Research Institute has been playing a major role in root and the tuber crop research, not only in Africa, but on the international scene. We want to thank the development and the donor agencies for facilitating and fast-tracking our research efforts that has made it possible to release improved varieties of these root and the tuber crops, cassava, yam, etc. We want to assure you of our continued partnership to move this sector forward. We want to congratulate Istrc-Ab, at least for making it possible to hold this symposium despite the pandemic. So he extends his greetings and asks me to please apologize for his not being there, you know, on the Zoom link. So on behalf of the Executive Director, National Root Crop Research Institute, we wish the symposium a fruitful one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Godwin, for the warm goodwill message from the Executive Director of NRCRI. Please extend heartfelt sympathy to him. Your Excellency, Director Generals, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite the representative of the Director General of IITA, Dr. Nteranya Sanginga, whose speech will be presented by Dr. Michael Abertin. Michael, please, can you take the floor and share with us the goodwill message? Thank you.
Sorry, you're
mute. Okay. All right. Okay. Godwin, thank you very much. Let me stand on previous protocol. I'm very happy to be here to represent the DG and to bring this goodwill message for IITA. As you know, IITA and the ISTRC Africa branch have a very long association, and IITA for many years has been very active in the work, and you can see that activity is very much continuing in this current meeting. And I want to congratulate Richardson and all the team on putting together such a very good program under rather difficult circumstances. So I'm very happy to be here to bring this message. We know that IITA has played a major role in research in root and tuber crops over the 54 years of its existence, and many staff, as I said, played important roles within the ISTRC Africa branch. And if we look at some of the research which IITA has done, obviously there's been a major focus on cassava and on yam in terms of root and tuber crops. The breeding of these crops has been done very successfully with major impact through the years, accompanied by agronomy, by plant health, by seed system research, which is continuing. All these things, of course, still very active today, with work on value chains, work on processing, work on markets, work on scaling. Some of that has been done, as you know, within the CRP-RTB, where again, IITA has played a major role in many of the flagship programs and clusters of that. For example, on the seed systems, on plant health, on genetic innovation, and so on. But beyond that, we also have some key projects, for example, funded by the Gates Foundation on breeding, for example, next gen cassava, Africa yam, breeding of yam, and all these things, very importantly, are working with partners in the national systems and other partners throughout sub-Saharan Africa, including private sector partners. So that's a very important point. And it's also important to note that they go into the research aspects, seed systems aspects, and then feeding into the way in which these crops are making a major impact on the farm, with the farmers, adoption and impact. So those have all been part of what we've been doing and what we'll continue to do. You've already heard about the 1CG. IITA, of course, is very active in that. We're leading several of these new initiatives in there. And we are really ensuring that there is going to be a strong presence of the root and tuber crops within the work of the 1CG in Africa. So with that, I want to say thank you. Thank you again. I want to bring again the best wishes of the DG and all of us at IITA for a successful program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michael Abertin, for the goodwill message on behalf of the Director General of IITA, Dr. Ntaranya Sanginga. So now we are going to shift gears a bit. We are going to have the keynote paper. This keynote paper is going to be presented on behalf of Dr. Graham Fierley by Dr. Robert Asiedo, an emeritus scientist, an immediate past director for West Africa Hub in IITA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him and listen to the keynote paper. Thank you so much, Dr. Robert. You can have the floor.
Thank you very much, Godwin. I hope you could see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you so much. Yes. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Zambia, or directors available and present on this call, allow me to stand on the rest of the protocol, please. As the MC had just mentioned, this presentation was prepared by Dr. Graham Thiele and also Dr. Michael Friedman, both of them of the RTB program of the CGIAR. Unfortunately, they couldn't join us. At the last minute, some things came up, and it's my honor to present their paper on their behalf. And this paper is on the CGIAR research program on roots, tubers, and bananas, and in short, RTB. The program has run for 10 years now, and it's been coordinated by the International Potato Center, SIP, but it also had other CGIAR centers in there, IITA, CIAT, Biodiversity International, but also other partners. And of course, it has worked very actively with the national programs around the world to really come up with some excellent outputs and outcomes. So I will now continue by sharing with us some of the rationale for establishment of the program, and then the key innovations that have been generated, which are termed the golden eggs. And these golden eggs are what we hope to transfer now into the one CGIAR, which was introduced in the speech of Dr. Barbara Wells. And then some of the outcomes also, I'll give some overview on that. Now, why the roots, tubers, and bananas? And when we mention roots, tubers, and bananas, examples of the key crops here are cassava, sweet potato, yam, potato. The bananas are the East African highland bananas, plantains in West Africa, for instance, West and Central Africa. But there are also some minor ones like, or in some circles we call minor or the underutilized ones, including cocoyam and the Andean roots and tuber crops also. Now, all these crops have many things in common, and this is why they were brought together in this program. They are often complex polyploids with complex genetic, that require complex genetic analysis in the studies that we do on them. Being vegetatively propagated, they are often slow in terms of the propagation rates, and they tend to accumulate pests and diseases. So these are some of the principal means in which these diseases are transferred as we distribute, if we are not careful, as we distribute planting materials. And then both the seeds and then the produce at the end of the seasons are highly perishable, and this imposes certain constraints in terms of how long you can keep them and the need for rapid processing. So what is actually the value added by this program? And this is where now I focus on the golden eggs and the transitioning to the one CGIAR. As has been presented, we have these action areas and the collective knowledge assets that have been generated from this program termed the golden eggs. These are frameworks, approaches, and various tools that are useful to communities. And some of these are so much appreciated that they were highlighted in the CGIAR's 50th anniversary celebrations. So Dr. Wells has already highlighted that in terms of the science areas, we have systems transformation, resilient agri-food systems, and genetic innovation. And the impact areas are stated there, and that has been also highlighted before: climate, gender, environmental health, poverty reduction, nutrition, health, and food security. And within each of these action areas, we have the initiatives, which are projects that are at advanced stages of design at the moment. So let's take an example in the area of genetic innovation and take a specific project that is being designed, which is the market intelligence and product profiling. How does RTB experience actually contribute to this? You would agree with me that compared to some of the major cereal crops like, say, wheat and maize, information on the markets and then the socioeconomic data for roots and tuber crops, roots, tubers, and banana are rather limited. So in terms of breeding programs, actually coming up with profiles of the products that are needed in the markets, there's a bit of a challenge. And this is where, because we have a lot of similarities among the roots, tubers, and bananas, we come together and then we have a number of measures or approaches to actually coming up to address these issues. And each of these has actually gender and social inclusion as a key driver. So you have, for instance, foresight and cost-benefit analysis. So approaches for doing this, and then the gender responsive product profile development. And so for all the crops, there is a lot of sharing that has gone on among the breeding programs to come up with their product profiles, and about 50 of them have already been designed to actually guide the efforts that the breeding programs will be making. So a major contribution from RTB there. So one of the golden eggs, and then another one, these two that are highlighted there. And then there is the initiative or project on farmer preferred varieties that is also coming up. And an example here of contribution from RTB is the approach that is termed TRICOT, which is a citizen science approach where farmers are involved actively in testing of technology, and they can take, say, 3 technology options, and then from their own assessments, give feedback through cell phone. In this way, a large number of varieties can be tested in a much shorter period compared to the conventional on-farm testing that we have been doing. So that is the TRICOT is another golden egg. Now, in the area of plant health, also breeding for end user preferences. In this area, again, you will agree with me that at the early stages of breeding programs, trying to assess quality traits in the produce that is intended in the end. Take, for instance, pounded yam or some of the cassava products or products from sweet potato. You want to be able to assess that early enough such that the materials that don't have those attributes can be rejected. So you don't carry them from year to year and really expend a lot of your resources. But then you have limited amount of material at that early stage. So what are the proxy measures that you can take that really would give you confidence that it's a good prediction of what you will expect at the end of the program? Now, these are not easy. And so a lot of effort has gone to designing these methodologies. And through the RTB Foods program, there's a lot of outputs being generated, which will really help across the roots, tubers, and banana programs. And then we come to seed delivery, seed call, which was referred to again in Dr. Wells' presentation. So in here, the real golden egg is the RTB toolbox. This has 11 tools and a glossary to explain. the various aspects of it. And this was launched successfully quite recently. Now, this is very important, and in the seed call project or initiative that is coming up, there's a task force already created for the RTB crops within the design team. And one full work package, which will feature the proposed African Center for Excellence for Research and Innovation on RTBC systems. So this really, the tools, including things like the measures for actually monitoring progress within the various seed systems, the tracker that I'll come to very soon. Yes, a number of ICT tools that are really going to help us, especially within the seed systems. And I mentioned the seed tracker now. It's already adopted and being implemented in Nigeria through the National Agricultural Seed Council, so that the volumes of planting material that are available at the various stages of the formal seed system can be monitored. The locations of the production of the various materials and data on the producers and all these are very easily monitored through the seed tracker. So we are very pleased that it's already been adopted and being used. And that is the golden egg there also. So if we move from the genetic innovation action area and go to resilient agri-food systems, there we take the example of plant health. And plant health also, a number of tools have been developed. And the two examples have been given here, Tumaini and Nuru. Tumaini relates to an application for monitoring and also making decisions on late blight in bananas. And Nuru is for cassava, but it's being adapted also to sweet potato and potato, where farmers, for instance, can actually diagnose the diseases affecting their crops by looking at the symptoms guided by this smartphone app. And then in terms of agronomy, we have Akilimo, another digital device with a lot more of tools to help with agronomic advice. This is being validated with a whole range of farmers, extension agents, and a number of organizations. So decisions on fertilizer application and other decisions that have to be made to ensure that you have very effective management of crops out in the field. This is another digital app that has come up as another golden egg. We move on now to systems transformation, the third action area. And in here, one initiative that is benefiting from RTB is leveraging gender and social equity in agri-food systems. And you can see here that gender integration in a number of the research areas is important, and the RTB has come up with gender tools for use with partners, and then gender and youth strategies, and two golden eggs there, the gender GI breeding tools, and then also the gender research for development portal. Now, several outcomes have resulted from the outputs that have been generated so far. And across the globe, as you can see, a number of examples. But I'll go into a bit of detail now on the ones that are specific to sub-Saharan Africa. One example of coming from discovery research to varietal release based on genomic assisted breedings and consumer preference studies. So everything is now accelerated because of the assistance from genomic studies, and also guided by the tools related to consumer preferences. And this collaboration between IITA and National Root Crop Research Institute that has led to the release of 5 cassava varieties already, and quite a number of them are in the pipeline. Here, orange flesh sweet potato to fight micronutrient malnutrition. A whole lot of varieties have been released already with this provitamin A biofortification. But as you have heard earlier, the challenge is now in getting the varieties into the hands of farmers, but through a decentralized approach with vine multipliers, a lot of households have benefited. Up to more than 6 million have already received this. And so the projected benefit runs to over 29 million individuals who benefit as a result of the generation of these varieties and the distribution of the planting materials. Here, an example of potato, where farmers have already increased the yields from 7.4 to more than 11 tons per hectare in Kenya. And the beauty of it is that the gap between men and women in terms of adoption of technologies has actually been removed through also the gender approaches that have been, or the gender transformations that have come about. So women and men are equally benefiting from this innovation that has come up. On cassava, so 66% of cassava growers have already adopted the improved varieties. And then as a result of adoption, you have 82% increase in yield. And this, in the end, about 2 million individuals from the rural households really have been able to escape poverty through this adoption and use of these improved varieties. We come to yam as an example here also, where the seed systems was really, even among the roots and tuber crops, very challenging and a little behind, but through several innovations using technologies, some of them mentioned here, the temporary immersion bioreactor systems, which are very important for the early generation seed production. And so as a result of this, as you see there, we have more than 221,000 breeder seeds in the former system that have been generated, and more than 3 million foundation seed tubers. 8 private seed companies in the 2 countries are engaged in this early generation seed effort. And then the beauty is also the regulatory bodies in the 2 countries have already been trained and equipped to ensure that the monitoring of health of the materials and then also the genetic purity is assured. Now, beautiful, the annual report that contains a lot more detail. It stays here to be published soon, but just early this morning, I saw that it's already come out. So please look out for it and get more of the details. I'll conclude with these thoughts, that through all the efforts that have been made, there are synergies among the root and tuber crops in terms of research and delivery of research outputs. We've come to a stage where we've been able to enhance the breeding efforts on these crops. The seed systems are really improved. We now have like emerging formal systems where there was none. And then the approaches to tackling, monitoring, and the diseases and pests, and also biotic stress constraints. The post-harvest systems, also we've made a number of improvements there across the crops. And livelihoods, that is the ultimate, livelihoods of smallholder farmers across the major production zones from these crops have been impacted a lot by this 10-year effort on the roots, tubers, and bananas. So on behalf of the program director for RTB, Graham Thiele, I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Robert Asiedu, for standing in for Dr. Graham Thiele and for your keynote paper. We appreciate you so much for that. And let me encourage colleagues that if you have any comment or question, please, you can put it in the chat box. I'm sure that Dr. Robert and other colleagues might want to respond to that before we close the opening session. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming to a point that is very critical for us. And this is going to be the address by the Minister of Agriculture and the official opening of the conference by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture in Zambia, Honorable Ruben M. Firi. He is going to be represented by the Director of ZARI, Mr. Makuka Ivo. May I invite Mr. Makuka Ivo to give the opening, the address and the official opening of the conference.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. I'm actually Ivo Makuka, Director, Zambia Agricultural Research Institute. It is my singular honor and privilege to be here to deliver this official opening speech on behalf of the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Ruben R.P. Mutoro, MP, who is unavoidably aware. The International Society for Tropical Root Crops, Global President, the International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa Branch President, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture Director General, the International Potato Center Director General, IITA Southern Hub Regional Director, invited senior government officials, distinguished stakeholders, representatives from national and international research institutions, scientific community, representatives from national and international NGOs, farmers, representatives, members of the press, distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and privilege for me to be with you during this official opening of the 14th International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa Branch Symposium, being held virtually with the theme Exploring Climate Smart, Nutritious and Health Root and Tuber Crops for African Business. I'm reliably informed that the symposium is being hosted in Zambia for the first time since its inception. As a country, we are proud to host this continental event on a virtual platform as we adjust to the new normal occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic. It is a great honor on behalf of the people of Zambia to welcome those of you who are outside our country. The International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa Branch, in collaboration with International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, organizes triennially international symposium rotating across the African regions, South, East, and Central and West Africa. At the end of the 13th symposium that was held at White Sands Hotel, Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, from 5 to 10th March 2017, Zambia was selected to host the next symposium that was scheduled to take place in 2020. The 14th International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa Branch Symposium, slated for the year 2020 from September 7th to 10th, did not take place due to obvious reasons. The world was and still is overwhelmed by the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to the rescheduling of the symposium to this year, now being held virtually. The Society's symposia serve as a unique platform for interaction among scientists, the private sector, who include processors, farmers, equipment fabricators, and marketers, the donor organizations, policymakers, regulators, information technology experts, and students working on all tropical root and tuber crops from various backgrounds from around Africa and the world to share experiences, build and strengthen collaborations, and develop strategies to contribute to sustainable economic development. I am confident that a platform will provide an opportunity for scientists to present and discuss ongoing research and progress being made and how the root and tuber crops are contributing to Africa's development agenda through job and wealth creation. I'm certain that the symposium will stimulate and enhance research for the full utilization of root and tuber crops in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, root and tuber crops, cassava, potato, sweet potato, yams, and aroids, Andean roots and tubers play an important role in food security, nutrition, climate change adaptation, and income generation for millions of people in Africa. I am aware that the symposium will discuss many topics, including production, nutrition, food security, capacity building, and policy advocacy, and environmental, culture, and socially accepted strategies that will ensure that the target beneficiaries achieve development goals. Hence the theme, exploring climate smart, nutritious, and health root and tuber crops for African business. Ladies and gentlemen, Ministry of Agriculture in Zambia set out a strategic operational framework targeting achievement of the sector Vision 2030 through an efficient, competitive, sustainable, and export-led agricultural sector that assures food security and increased income by 2030. To realize this vision, the Ministry of Agriculture has identified 3 thematic areas of focus and their related strategic results as follows. Number 1, operational excellence resulting into efficient and effective service delivery. 2, agricultural development resulting into enhanced income generation, food and nutrition security. 3, partnerships resulting into optimal implementation of programs and projects. To ensure optimal performance in the 3 thematic areas, the ministry has set out for itself a mission which is to facilitate the development of a sustainable and diversified agricultural sector for enhanced income generation and food and nutrition security. In particular for cassava crop, which is one of the most important root crops in Zambia, but also the second staple food after maize, the ministry launched the second Zambia Cassava Sector Development Strategy for 2020 to 2024, with a vision of an inclusive, viable, and competitive cassava industry contributing to food security, job and wealth creation for improved livelihoods. Let me reiterate that the Zambian government envisages increasing agriculture's contribution to economic growth by not only increasing production for food security, but also agro-processing and manufacturing for both domestic and export markets. The government is therefore promoting crop diversification away from maize by supporting production of a wide range of roots and tubers through improved extension services, mechanization, irrigation, value addition, and improved market access. Therefore, I'm happy to note that the theme of this symposium is in line with our government aspirations towards enhanced food and nutrition security, as well as increased incomes for our farmers. Hence, this is highly supported. Ladies and gentlemen, I must express our gratitude to the International Society for Tropical Root Crops and the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, for choosing Zambia to host this important meeting. This clearly demonstrates the commitment of the Istrc-Ab to the development of agriculture in our region and Zambia in particular, whose focus is to reduce poverty and hunger in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Zambian government and the people of Zambia, I wish to again extend a very welcome to all our virtual visitors and wish all of you fruitful deliberations. I would like to assure you once again that the government will support your initiatives to ensure positive impacts for our people. It is now my rare privilege to declare this symposium officially opened. Thank you very much and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, the Honorable Minister for Agriculture in Zambia. Thank you so much for the opening address and for opening the 14th edition of the Istrc-Ab conference symposium. We appreciate you so much for that. With this, I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Mark, if he's on the call, he can take over and continue with the rest of the program. Is Mark there? Mark? Mark, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am here.
Okay, so you can moderate the remaining part of the program, please.
Yeah, I think Martin is the one who's supposed to come in and do that now, if I'm not mistaken, according to the program that I have here.
Okay, then maybe I can just go ahead and invite the next people from the next item that we have on the program. Is actually a vote of thanks from the LOC. So let me invite someone from the LOC to give us the vote of thanks. Dr. Richardson, who is representing the LOC for the vote of thanks, or Phineas?
Dr. Martin, there was a person you nominated.
There's somebody called Ruth. She's supposed to give the vote of thanks.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I hope I'm loud and clear.
Yes, you're allowed. Please put on your video, please.
Very well.
Thank you so much, Director of Program. To the guest of honor, Minister of Agriculture, allow me to write on all protocols of the Director of Programs. To all valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Like mentioned, my names are Ruth Chibesa Kambala Koko. On behalf of the local organizing committee from Zambia, Lusaka, I wish to thank you most sincerely for bringing the 14th Symposium of the International Society for Tropical Root Crops Africa branch to Zambia. Of course, we would have loved to meet in person and interact individually, but COVID-19 could not allow us, could not permit us to meet. However, we are grateful that technology has allowed us to meet in this manner. May I take this opportunity to express sincere thank you to all the goodwill messages from the speakers and the keynote papers that revealed some positive information on the impact of the roots and tubers, narrowing it down to the following. Number one, the value that they bring to our daily diets, and especially the economic impact on our individual farmers, which will further impact other areas of their lives. For example, having a health disposable income. This will further impact positively on the general national economy of our continent, Africa, and definitely globally through the entire value chain that they will create. Thank you for stimulating the focus for the symposium in general, and we hope for all the countries to benefit from the symposium to promote root and tubers crops and contribute to the country's economy. So thank you very much for allowing Zambia to host, and thank you very much for the keynote speeches and the general keynote papers that we have received. And to my fellow local organizing committee, especially my chairman, we are grateful that you gave us this opportunity to push together this plan. And today we are here discussing and sharing ideas at this symposium. Thank you very, very much, and good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon, and also good afternoon, and also good morning from Nigeria here. Thank you so much, Ruth, for the vote of thanks. Much appreciated. We have actually gained a lot of time, thanks to all the presenters, the directors, the director generals, and also His Excellency, the Honorable Minister, for keeping to time and giving us very insightful goodwill messages and presentations. We appreciate all of you for the time. Now it's announcement, and before I go to the announcement, I think I also like to thank Mr. Mark Mungula, who helped me in coordinating the program. My name is Godwin Atse, and I invite the local organizing committee for announcements, and probably the president might also have some announcement before we take the national anthem. So the LOC, or if you have any announcement, this is your time. Or Dr. Richardson.
Thank you, Godwin, and thank you, everyone. Few announcements, and ladies and gentlemen, we've organized this virtual symposium such that you will not be tied the whole day to your computers. So if you look at the program that has been sent, for those who have not received it, send me an email so I can forward to you. But those who have received it, you can look at it. You can also go to our website, istrc-ab.org, and you will see the program also there. So tomorrow we will be open from 9 a.m. Nigerian time, 10 a.m. Zambian time, and 8 a.m. Greenwich Main Time. And we will still be on this Zoom line for a plenary that will take about 30 minutes. After that, we will have breakout. If you look at the program, there will be additional 3 Zoom lines that will be opened. And everyone can choose based on the papers that have been circulated in the program. You can choose which of those rooms that you can go to. You can actually switch from a room to another room by just clicking the link. Once you have registered now, you don't need to register again. You can move in between the rooms. So it's quite easy. Now, all the presenters, please, I'm sure you have to be conversant with how to share your screen. When you put on your PowerPoint, you share your screen to be able to present. So your chairpersons will be managing the program within your own Zoom session platform. All the presenters will have about 14 minutes to make presentation, and we have about 10 minutes of questions and answer per paper that will be presented. We are going to assign rapporteurs who will assist the chairpersons to note down the key issues that may arise maybe through the questions or through the papers, so that we can collate all these issues and look at it together as a family sometime within the week. So if you haven't, if you're a presenter and you haven't received your links, please let me know. And if you don't know how to use the Zoom, I can also share a simple guide on how to use the Zoom. But make sure, please, that you have good internet connectivity. If your internet is not okay while you are presenting, the chairperson may step you down and bring forward another person. So I wish you well, and we have started very well today, and I hope to see everybody smart and ready tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the president of Istrc-Ab, Dr. Richardson Okechukwu, for those announcements. And tomorrow we are going to start with a plenary, if I'm right, and then from there we go into the various sessions. So is there any announcement from Zambia before we call on the Zambian national anthem? Finas and the LOC chair.
No announcement.
All right. So with that, let me call on the IT guys to play the national anthem. And after the national anthem, probably we can put on our videos. National anthem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.